Okay? Now that may be 6 months after closing for all we know. And remember, the funding fee is paid 3 ways. Cash to close, seller concessions, and it's financed into the transaction. If it's cash to close or concessions, they will receive a check back from guess who? Benchmark. Okay? If it's financed, it's a principal reduction. Now, the average nationwide turn time for that veteran to get their money back is about 6 to 8 weeks. We never quit at Benchmark. We pride ourselves in doing things better than our competition to be a champion. This is why I want this proof of filing, because it makes Steve Remington and Veronica Mendoza's job a hell of a lot easier if they know where to go to get it quickly. Could they figure it out on their own if they had to? Sure. But that's just delaying the customer experience that the veteran gets. We want to do the little things better. Is it required by the VA that we get what I'm asking you to get? No. I'm saying it's required to be a champion. So freaking be one. Right? All right.
They will always get it back?
Yes. They will have a proof of filing, right? It's your proof. It's dated, it's stamped.
They get one every month.
Say that louder.
I get one every month too. Like we're processing your claim still.
That won't work for him.
What's that?
That won't work for him. You can't use it.
No, it doesn't work for income. This is only for the purpose so that the reason I want this has nothing to do with you qualifying with this loan. It's to make Remington's life easier, okay? So that we can look awesome when the day comes, because it's going to come, when they get approved. As soon as they get approved, what do you think that next phone call is going to be? Because if they just had a $300,000 loan and we had to charge them 2.15%, that's $6,000, people. I want my money, right? They're going to be calling the LO, which is you. And if you don't know what you're talking about, you're like, oh. Where's, do I got my girls from Lubbock? Anybody from Lubbock in here? Who's Christine's girl? Who's the other girl in Lubbock? Cindy. It was Cindy's deal. Cindy's deal. She's like, okay, yeah, we'll get you the refund. She didn't even know. She's like, hey, hopefully you can help. I told them to get the refund. I was like, you did good, girl, because we do get them the refund. But she totally, just winged it. I feel like that. What if she'd have been wrong? Now, the good news was, I jumped on it right away, which is what Stuart was telling. For those of you that don't know, if you don't know something about VA, don't sit there and try to trudge through the mud, right? Or come to me. I am your chief advisor of VA home loans. If I can't help you, I will find someone who will. Promise me. Or I promise you, right? Okay. Last one. I get excited. I know. Are you entitled to disability from the VA? The last answer you're going to hear from the veteran is no. And I don't plan on filing because I have both my arms and both my legs. Persian Gulf started August 2nd, 1990. We have been technically in a status of war or conflict since that date. So, active duty members need how long, class? Say it again. All right. Reserve and National Guard. Here's where the Title 10 and Title 32 come in. Okay? Reserve and Guard members can be eligible 2 ways. First, they can be eligible by their trade as a reservist or a Guard member. Okay? If they're going to be eligible that way, they need to obtain 6 years. Each one of those years must be 16 points acquired on their point statement. Now, those do not have to be consecutive. They can be cumulative. All right? They also have another way they can be eligible. If a Guard or Reserve member was activated on Title 10 orders, they now become real live active duty. Remember when I said National Guard got activated at a federal level on Title 32? That's Texas National Guard getting activated on the border to keep the cartels out. But that doesn't mean they're deployable to Iraq or Afghanistan. They're not live active duty. Title 10 makes you real live active duty. Got your big boy pants on, right? You're going, son. Then they only need how long? Class? All right, very good. Any questions on this so far? All right, let me see. What's your name, young lady? Haley. Are you a loan officer? What are you? All right. The answer was future BA expert, right? Okay, who's your superior? What's your name, sir? Nathan? Kirkman. Hey, I'm going to be visiting you in Missouri, aren't I?
Yes, sir.
All right, we get CE in Missouri. Let me tell you, that was the hardest earned CE I've ever had to fill out. Terry Murphy for the head of Missouri. We sent in the package. This is no joke. I couldn't make this up. My partner Fish sends in the package. She calls me back and says, I can't approve your package yet, Mr. McMakin. I said, why not? She said, you missed the box on the criminal background check. I said, what did I miss? The box about sodomizing a farm animal. I said, I'm pretty sure I haven't done that. And she's like, well, the box wasn't checked. They don't have that in Tennessee because it's okay there. All right, so Nathan,
Yes, sir.
go ahead and stand up for me for a second. I want you to close your eyes. Because now you're a teacher. You've retained some things. Get your hands out of your pockets. Military instructors do not put their hands in their pockets. Right? All right. You're the teacher, so you should know what's in your head by now. Keep your eyes closed. All right? I just want you to focus on the words. Active duty personnel. What document do I need to get my certificate eligibility?
Active duty personnel.
Picture the slide in your head.
Select my head. I would need the, obviously I need your LES, which is your...
Wrong. LES tells me your income.
Right, your income, but I need the certificate of eligibility.
I'm trying to get that.
Right, so, it's not an ED-14.
Right? Because they're not discharged, so what do I need?
Oh, I don't know the form number, sir.
Statement of
Service, statement
Okay.
of service, yes.
Now, I have an active duty veteran who is discharged. What are the 3 types of discharges that are acceptable?
They almost be honorable.
1 is honorable, what's 2? It's actually a rank of an officer.
So it's the officers, so they were enlistment.
Okay.
The ELS.
Time out. Okay, you can open your eyes. You can open your eyes. It's all right.
Yes.
Do you see what I'm doing? If you're listen, it's okay. Nathan, go ahead and sit down. Bro. Give him a round of applause. The master has failed 1,000 times more than the student has ever tried. You gotta do it over and over until you know it cold. You should be able to know this stuff on a cocktail napkin, having a conversation with a realtor, because when are you really gonna sit down and talk to them about letting them into your office? Them letting you into their office. Not when you have a PowerPoint, people. You've got to have it in your brain. You want to be the teacher, you've got to know it, right? Thank you for being a good sport, buddy. I know I put you on the spot. I know I did.
Well,
That's why we're here.
I've done BA loans for probably 15 years. I started. So,
Case in point, that's why we're here, right? Here's the good news. Your competition, you don't have any, really. They're reading from a script in a cubicle. All right? Tess, when we went to San Angelo, which is the black hole of West Texas, I'm just telling you. But of all places in the world to meet Herschel Walker, that's where I met Herschel Walker. Can't believe it. What did your realtor say when we did your class?
I said, we are pro-class people, training people, and we've been doing real estate for 30 years. We have never, ever, ever learned as much as we learned in this, and we found things out. Rules and this, we're all.
The most adorable old couple you ever seen in your life, husband and wife realtor team, and he was a veteran, right?
Yes.
And they were whippersnapper sharp, right? They were the ones that made that statement. They pride themselves like a Boy Scout with Boy Scout badges, getting their little CE credits all they can, right? They got, I think they got a CE basket weaving badge, they've done every class known to man. Okay? But is it because I'm an exciting speaker? Man, but they learn something. It's not always about the content, people. Because guess what? I'm not teaching you anything new from 1944. It's been around a long time. As a coach, you have...
This Persian Gulf thing, I had no idea about that we're still in that. So anybody, I mean, literally, if you think about it, anybody that's ever been active duty for 90 days since 1990.
Yeah. Well, let's think about this. Because David's got a good point. That's what I'm about to say. Here's our VP of VA underwriting. Okay? You just don't know what you don't know. But we're all here as a team. Yes, sir.
I did one where another lender turned him down for 2 weeks in the field, and he was only 6 months out of Texas, out of everything.
Yeah.
And they were like, "Oh, you can't do it. You haven't been there 2 years."
Right.
And I'm like, "No, hold on. We've been there 4 or so."
Right. Correct.
That's nice. So I looked it up and we did it.
So let's talk about this. 1990. Focus on that year. Okay? When did Vietnam end? Anybody? 1975. So if I went in 1970, I'm born in 1973, right? So my dad's a Vietnam vet. And he got out in 75. So let's say so you could be a young private or a young butter bar lieutenant in 1973, okay? And then you serve 20 years. Now you're a full-bird colonel or a sergeant major. What's 20 years plus 73? 1993. There's one generation that was a part of this war. So when Persian Gulf kicked off, when Desert Storm kicked off, the tail end of the Vietnam guys were the high rankers. Then my generation comes in, the Gen Xers, right? I'm 45 now. Generation right behind me. And the generation after that is now starting to serve. 4 generations. So it's highly unlikely anybody that has served active duty during that time frame isn't eligible for this. Okay? But it does happen. Okay? Somewhere in this little post-Vietnam era, there's this little synapses of time. So, let me try another person. What's your name, sir? Bob? Young? Alright. Bob, stand up, close your eyes. Alright, first of all, open your eyes. How many VA loans have you done?
Probably 3 dozen.
3 dozen. It's 36. That's a lot of donuts. Alright? I can eat half of this for sure. Alright, close your eyes. Wait, what state are you from? Michigan. Okay. So where? Kalamazoo. You know us. Alright, close your eyes. National Guard. What are the 2 documents I need to obtain the certificate of eligibility?
NGB 22 or NGB 23.
Okay? And with that, how many years of service do they need?
6 years.
With how many points per year?
16.
Okay? So what if I only have 4 years? Is it possible I can be eligible?
If they were ever elevated via Title 10.
Elevated or activated?
Active.
Right? On Title 10. Okay? If that happened, what other document would I have? If I got activated on Title 10, I was deployed for a term of service, and then when I was done with my tour over in Iraq, I was sent back to the Guard. What document would I have?
Service.
Close. What happens after statement of service?
ETS.
Then what? What piece of paper do I get when I'm discharged? Yes, sir. Give me a round of applause. not feel comfortable letting you touch my chest. Alright? But you gotta know this stuff, okay? And that was a trick question because we haven't covered that, have we? You did a great job, man. I wish I had a coin or something. I got a challenge coin for him? I'm a coin.
That's nice.
Alright. David will buy you a drink, I promise. Alright? So here's just so we're clarified, okay? So let's go back. I had a National Guard member. He said NGB 2223. Good job, he got that right, okay? Because that is their normal by trade, their version of the DD 214 and their version of the point statement. But he didn't have 6 years of service. He only did 4. However, he was activated on Title 10 orders, which made him active duty. When a Guard member or reservist is activated on Title 10, they become active duty and they go on what's called a tour of duty. Write that down. They're activated on Title 10, tour of duty. When that tour is over, they are discharged from that tour and sent back to the Guard. This is why you might have Guard, and each time that happens, you get a DD 214. That's why you might have a Guard member that has 3 or 4 of them, right? How many should you ask for? All of them, right? Why? Stas? Quick answer.
Well, I mean, you're going to see their terms of how long they've been in the service.
Right. Because one of them is bound to be right. How about that? If you just want to go with the Cliff Notes version, one of them is bound to be right. But it's very possible you don't say I want your most recent, because what if their most recent was dishonorable? Can you have a dishonorable discharge and have a previous honorable and be eligible? Yes, you can. Most definitely. You earn an honorable discharge. No one can take that from you. Write that down. See, teachers? See, teachers? Right? Nobody in here knew that. Not one person. Let me restate that. The reason why you ask a National Guard member, or anybody for that matter, for all of your DD 214s, all of your statement of services, whatever document you got, give it to me. Okay? You don't ask just for the most recent. Because it's possible a National Guard or Reserve member may have multiple DD 214s. And let's say their last one, let's say they did 4 tours, right? The first 3 were honorable. And the last one, they just went off the deep end and did something dishonorable. No one can take their first 3 honorable away. All they need is 1 honorable discharge to be eligible for the VA home loan benefit. Right? Okay.
So just put 1 in the file.
All we need is 1. all we need is an honorable general or general under honorable. Right? So unmarried surviving spouse. Now, here's how this works. There's no time requirement for, like, they don't have to review, they don't have to wait a time period. Unlike POW and MIA spouse. So MIA is missing in action. We don't know where you are. We don't know if you're alive. POW is prisoner of war. Unfortunately, we know exactly where you are. Okay? In these 2 scenarios, the spouse of that veteran may be eligible for the home loan benefit, but before that can happen, there's a mandatory waiting turn time of 90 days. Okay? To make sure that that intelligence is true and reliable. The unmarried surviving spouse is different. You don't have to wait 90 days to tell someone's dead. You're dead. Right? Not really. You don't need to wait 90 days. You just got a process to pay for it. Now, the spouse of the veteran for the unmarried surviving spouse. Again, this means the spouse was killed in action or their death is a direct result of a service-connected disability, injury, or illness. You have to tie the death to the service. If that person is under 57 years old, they must be unmarried to obtain the benefit. Okay? So let me do this here. All right, so Selena, let's say, and maybe this is a bad example, but Gerald's not really going to die. Okay? Let's say Gerald was killed in combat. Okay? You're now an unmarried surviving spouse. And let's say you were 26 years old. Your you're under 57, so you're unmarried. Now you're eligible. 10 years goes by, you remain unmarried. After 10 years, you get remarried. Is she eligible anymore? No. Okay? So at 36, she's remarried. Let's say another 10 years goes by and you get divorced from that second marriage. Okay? She's now unmarried again. Is she eligible?
Yes.
Yes, she is. Okay? You remain unmarried to the age of 59 and you decide to get remarried and that you're going to buy a home, but you want to use the VA home loan benefit. Can she? Why? She's over 57. Makes sense? Yes?
So if the surviving spouse lost their veteran husband, not related to service, and they were in a home that already had a VA loan, would that happen? Are you saying
That does not what?
They did not refinance from VA?
Okay, whoa. Start from the beginning, slowly.
Sorry. So if the spouse lives in a home that's financed with VA loan,
Right?
and her veteran husband died, but not related to service, she cannot refinance into another VA loan.
So the question is, you have a husband and wife, the husband is the veteran, okay? They have a VA loan on their property. Husband dies in a car crash, has nothing to do with service. And then the rates drop, they're at 5.5, rates drop to 4. Can she refinance into a VA home loan? No. Answer is no. Unfortunately. Okay?
Okay, hey, anybody want to film their wife?
I want to get Andre.
Yeah. Maybe. All right.
And then while we're interrupted, anybody after Andre just that wants to get it done? Okay, so just like if y'all will, we'll stack us to a time, but then when someone comes back out, let's just kind of keep that rotation rolling, okay? Good, yeah.
All right. Now I'm going to have David cover the COE because he's got a little stage fright. So welcome our VP of VA, Mr. David Garrett.
That's stage right. So
You're
essentially,
supposed to get up and do it, but that's
this
okay.
microphone's closer.
All right.
So what we wanted to do is we wanted to go through a few different things. But Jay and I were kind of looking over this. We wanted to make sure that you recognize what types of COEs there were, and what's covered on the COE, and what to look for out of them. So we pulled up 4 different types of COEs. This first one is an exempt COE. So you have somebody here who you have the entitlement code number 10. So that's what we're looking for when we talked originally about when somebody gets, if they're in reserve duty and they get pushed into active duty, they're going to get the entitlement code 10. It gives you their branch of service, and this is all on your VA.
And by the way, what does this stand for, folks? Army? Aren't really Marines yet. Okay. A for aren't, R for really, M for Marines, Y for yet.
So what the COE tells you is a couple things. At the top part of it, you see your funding fee is exempt. Anytime you see exempt, that means that you have a veteran that's been disabled at some point in time, which means naturally they don't have to pay a funding fee. So they're going to save money. Oh, you want me to put it there? All right, so there's a couple things underneath here. So you're going to have conditions on your COE. And so there's a lot of valuable information that comes from this. If you ever have something that comes up that says that you have somebody who needs to be for prior approval, you need to pay attention to that because that is going to add some time to your loan. And this is where it will be noted. If you have a borrower that has non-service related pension, or is that correct, non-service related pension?
And disability pension.
Yeah, disability pension. So those things are going to come up there. If you see it, make sure you're reading these. These are extremely important. This is telling you how much they're getting paid on their disability claims. The money that they're making from that. It also tells you their entitlement for the $36,000 up here. So it tells you they don't have any. They get their full entitlement. There's nothing up here, any loans or anything we've been charged for them. So this is clean. This is what we want to see whenever they come in. There's nothing really to pay attention here, but sometimes you're going to see that there's 4 or 5 different things that are down here below this condition. Subsequent use. Yes.
Where does it say our group required homes? I don't know if I've ever seen it.
It'll be down here.
It would be down here conditions. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
got to take the reins for one quick second here. So look, if you're teaching this as a teacher, okay, let me just see that. I'm not gonna take this back over. Sorry. All right, because what I want, because David's got the analytical brain part of it down, but I want you to understand this. If you're teaching this to someone else, now you have to dumb this down for realtors, okay? You guys can understand all this stuff. They cannot, okay? Or yet. They can't yet, okay? Title of the code means nothing to them. Branch of service, oh, hoorah, great. All right? Funding fee exempt. If this says exempt, can you trust that this is accurate? Yes, you can. It means that it's already verified in the VA system. Okay? What if it said non-exempt? And it could be wrong. That's why I want that disability reward letter that we talked about together earlier, team. And you point that out to that team. Yes.
On the entitlement codes, I mean, I don't know them, there's one that's like Persian Gulf, what
It has nothing to do with Persian Golf. 10 means first time home buyer, full entitlement. 5 means subsequent use.
But there's like 10 codes.
Right.
So what
Only 2 you gotta worry about.
Sorry?
Only 2 you gotta worry about.
Okay.
And
Yeah, there's none that are really very high killer.
Right.
The biggest thing is that you're looking for that the veteran has full entitlement. If they don't have full entitlement, you got to worry about different calculations. But you were just saying something I can't remember.
So here's what I was saying right here. So this is how I explain it to real estate agents. If this box is blank, this is good, people. This means that they don't have any previous loans. See how I done that now? Made it real simple. Okay? That's all that they need to know. You're teaching them that and you're moving on. You're giving them enough to know, like, hey, if that's a good thing. If there was something here, I call Sally. That's all you want to give to them as a teacher. Okay? Then you come down here. If there's conditions, you read them. Now he talked about prior approval. You as LOs and as a teacher need to teach this. If you see VA prior approval, what does that tell you? That means the VA has to underwrite it.
We have to fully underwrite it. In order for it to go in for prior approval, underwriting has to fully underwrite that file.
Right.
It's got to be fully underwritten. We have to say, yep, we're ready to go. We're ready to close. And it gets sent off. It gets sent off in one big file.
Here's the kicker. Does the VA have an AUS like DU and LP?
No.
So you're approved eligible, you can wipe your butt with it. It means nothing, right? It is a manual underwrite. The second you see that, VA prior approval means manual underwrite. Write it down. I don't see anybody writing. VA prior approval means manual underwrite. What does that mean? DTI-wise. Class 41. Unless, Sally?
Unless they have 120% residual.
Yeah, you're up.
Yes.
Yes.
But they also need other, it can't be their only compensation. Right. It could
That
be.
was required.
Right.
That is absolutely required.
Correct.
They don't have that.
Absolutely correct. So you have to have 120% residual anytime you're going over 41%, unless you have an approved eligible. Approved eligibles are thrown out for prior approvals. That's what he's trying to say. So, yes.
So, go on. I got your hand, don't worry. Okay? So, the question immediately comes, well, we can exceed 41. What's the next question the LO is going to ask? Well, how can I know? Right? So, David cornered, who'd you corner, Ken?
Yeah.
LPO of St. Paul?
Where's your, no offense anybody, I was like, where's your butt start to pucker?
When we were at the VA conference, when we were at the VA conference, he cornered one of the guarantee, or no, he was a loan production officer, LPO of St. Paul, Minneapolis, St. Paul, and he was like, look, man, you guys keep dodging this question.
Like,
You know, what's the cutoff?
well, because sometimes you get an approved eligible. We've had some as high as 75%, 76%. So why do we cut somebody back at 41% that has an approved eligible? I mean, let's say we have an approved eligible at 65%, but for whatever reason that's not going to be sent in for prior approval. Now we're cut down to 41 when the system's saying, hey, it's a great loan, do it. But now so we got to go, whoa, we got to pull it back to 41. That person doesn't qualify. So that was my question to him was, why do I have to pull back those rates? And how far out can I go and still make this a reasonable loan? And I said, is 45 a round number, 50 a round number? And he's like, he would want to stay a little bit close to that range of 41, 50, really pushing the boundaries. If you go and past that, you're going to get looked at pretty hard.
So at benchmark, we go to 50. We push the boundaries. Yes.
So can that be a TBD if we're in that situation?
David Garrett.
For what?
Can that be pre-underwritten?
For prior approval?
Yes.
Well,
Or does it have to have an address attached?
can do credit.
I mean, we can underwrite it, we can certainly do a TBD.
Yeah, the VA doesn't care if there's a
No, but
problem.
I mean, if it requires VA prior approval,
It's still okay, I mean.
Right,
we can
because you don't
do
need an
TBD.
appraisal to have an approval.
We can still do the TBD, it's not gonna hurt anything from a TBD standpoint, we're not saying, yeah, we'll do the loan, get everything else, and then we're gonna have to send it in. So you're not affecting the TBD part of it.
Gina,
no, I'm just saying, can
Oh,
we
sorry.
send it to the VA if they're not under contract to say, yeah, they're okay at this?
No. No, VA will not look at it,
Okay.
they will not waste their time.
We're manually underwriting the view. So you
That's-
can do a credit. on
You
it.
can send it to us, you can send it to the underwriting department, we'll do your TBD, and we'll tell you where they're gonna do it. See, the thing is, when you send something into prior approval, VA is just looking to make sure you didn't miss anything. That's all they're doing. So when we.
basically consider it like an audit.
Right. They're looking at our file, they're looking at the exact same thing. So when you guys look at the lender's handbook, that is a manual underwriting.
Hey, I'm gonna jump in right here on strategy. So, I mean, one of the biggest things that the objective is that we're always trying to coach
Guys.
estate agents to, champion our veteran, right? Champion it. And so if they're going to a listing agent is always like, well, you know what, this is 100% loan. I mean, y'all know what I'm talking about. But I mean, I really want us to start thinking about, like, can we change that to what we're really doing is we're approved this is a cash buyer. It's a flip to like that kind of cash buyer strategy where we've already gone through this process, we've already got this person approved, and we're giving certainty. And that's where I really want us to get, like, when we start talking about being an expert, to me, it's like I want you so good that we've kind of gone through this motion that you're looking someone in the eye and you go, no, you don't understand. It's not 100% loan. It's 1,000%. It's 100% cash buyer is what you got.
Do we have a specially formulated pre-approval letter with verbiage that everyone would approve that says something like that?
Yeah. You know what it says?
It's
It's your pre-approval letter.
What?
It's your pre-approval letter. I mean, that's
No,
what
I
this
mean,
one's
do we have
pre.
one with verbiage that's specific to VA if we were in an instance where they were maybe in resistance?
I think you should put on there that, hey, we pre-underwritten this loan and we have no outstanding conditions except for property. I mean, I'd be totally fine with that.
Yeah, that's an underwritten commitment.
Yeah, so I mean, I want us to kind of transition past, I mean, if we're gonna go and break kind of some of these glass barriers that are already existing out there, then let's do it with the strategy of whereby we put the effort and the energy in it up front. We're saying, let me tell you why you prioritize this. This one's done. This is not like, don't get your eyes off the fact it's a VA loan, and get your eyes onto the fact that it's a 100% certainty.
I think
If you accept my contract, we're over.
Cash buyer.
Right.
Right.
So,
Hold on, Mike, first. Yeah.
What would trigger COE to say VA prior?
Yeah.
Something that happens in their background, like when you have non-service related pension benefits, this came up not long ago, and this is something you all need to pay attention to. Non-service related pension benefits are benefits that the VA gives out to a veteran because they're destitute. So you've got somebody who's literally just down on their luck, they don't make any money, they're living, they're barely scraping by. They can go and apply for benefits from VA. VA will say, yeah, sure, you put in your time, we'll give you a little bit of money. It's not a lot, but it's some. So when they're doing that, VA is giving out money that isn't really necessarily a disability benefit from service. So that money then is monitored. Every year they get a statement that says, send me your W-2s, tell me how much money you made. You're supposed to send that back in. And if you don't, or if you've made no money, great, you just keep moving on. Recently we had a borrower that had a job for over 2 years and was making good money and did not tell VA that they had this service-related benefit. And so what happened was, when that loan went in for prior approval, because it said, we gotta send it for prior approval.
All of a sudden, you make no money, how you gonna buy a home?
Yeah.
Right?
So what happened was, we sent that back in, they yanked his pension, took his pension away. He now owes $27,000 in back due money to the federal government. So he got a counter payment, and they wouldn't approve his loan.
And you lost benchmark.
Yeah, so pay attention. When you see prior approval down here, pay attention.
Take that offline.
There has to be a real conversation with the veteran that says, do you want me to go through this loan? Because if we do, we're going to have to send your income in to somebody to be reviewed. And they call it, the lady that I spoke with, they call it a pension track. It's literally specifically so that someone gets their income reviewed when it comes in there. They're doing nothing else but looking at their income.
So another reason would be when you get VA disability pension. So VA disability is considered a lifetime benefit. Write it down if you don't know. from an underwriting standpoint, VA disability is considered a lifetime benefit. You don't have to verify it's going to be continued for 36 months. Okay? VA disability pension is something different. That would show up here, needs VA prior approval. Because when you retire, meaning you've done 20 years of service, okay, well, maybe I get out and I'm going to go work for a Lockheed Martin. And I'm going to make 6 figures. And they got killer insurance. And so I don't need to go to the VA hospital. I can go anywhere I want, right? So in lieu of me taking disability pay, which might, let's just say is for math purposes, let's say it's $1,000 a month. I can take disability pension for $1,500 a month because I'm not going to be sucking on the VA's resources for medical. I'm not going to go in there and get prescriptions. I'm not going to go in there and do that. So for that, they give me more money. That would be under review every time that you do a loan. That would come up as VA prior approval. Anytime you do a joint loan, write that down, VA prior approval. Joint loan, meaning 2 veterans, okay? Or a veteran and a non-spouse borrower.
Well, we got a section.
Yeah, we're gonna get into that. I'm just saying that would pop up in here, okay? Now look, we're going to take a quick break.